And you also said it's okay to make mistakes, be sick, or not work like a machine. And I completely agree with that as well. And to me, it all comes to having a healthy level of self-esteem. And I love working with my clients with that, because when they have more self-acceptance, they're able to take better decisions for themselves, instead of buying into the I'm not good enough or I don't do enough mentality, which is not very helpful. And I also think it's necessary to build a strong sense of confidence in yourself and your work, because I know that as artists as well, the artistic soul is very prone to insecurity or self-doubts, or even things like the imposter syndrome, which is quite common.
The what? What syndrome?
The imposter syndrome.
Oh, what's that?
The imposter syndrome, it happens, let's say a DJ suddenly becomes, quite popular. And it happens to all the greats. It happens to like famous actors, to people who made it like big time. And, they may be playing and they're thinking, what am I doing here? Like they're going to realize I'm a fraud, like I'm just a normal DJ and suddenly I'm placed, at this level. So they've got this sense of like being a fraud, which is all like a mindset thing. So I was curious to know, how do you overcome your self-doubts?
I actually don't.
You don't? Okay.
That's, I think, the thing is, I only have self-doubts when I look at my past, for example, because I know where I don't want to go.
Okay.
But I can't, I think, it gets a bit ESO now, but I think there are no doubts if you're on the present moment. That's the main thing. I'm really into Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. I'm also really into like this general idea of meditating, and that doesn't matter which kind of meditation. And not always. Of course, I'm also freaking out sometimes, and I also have self-doubt, and that's the thing. But I'm always trying to bring me back to the present moment somehow. Sometimes it's yoga. Sometimes it's also just like walking around the streets and just doing nothing, just watching.
Yeah.
It can be quite easy, or just doing some simple exercises, and sometimes it's meditation too. But I think the main problem is that as an artist, at least when I am creative, I'm kind of sharing my own personality with everyone else, and that can be, especially when you're not reaching everyone, or when you're only reaching a few people, that can be quite frustrating, because you're not receiving the reaction that you want to receive.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, when I started this change after this Shake That track, I produced so much music. I finally was into like all the music that I produced. I really liked it for the first time, and it was like such a productive time. I produced like 10 or 12 tracks a week.
Wow.
Like banging them out all the time. I was not doing anything else, just producing. And then I started sending them out to labels, and at some point I realized that no one was interested in my music, and that was so depressing. And I was like, oh man, maybe my music is just not good enough. But that's completely wrong. In the end, I receive 20 mails a day from some people on SoundCloud sending me music, and I listen to maybe 5%. And it's not about me. It's just about all the input for everyone, and everyone is struggling to filter this input. So, but you're not thinking this far. You're always like in the past or in the future, but you never in the present moment think, okay, maybe there are a few other reasons, and not my music.
Yeah.
Sometimes being stressed or having anxieties or fears or whatever is quite this, and not and you don't see other possibilities, and that's, I think, a main problem too.
Absolutely, it's like being stuck in like limiting thoughts.
Yeah.
And being stuck, like you said, like stressing about the future, or like thinking about the past and not being in the present moment. And this is what causes us to have all these doubts and anxiety. And yeah, like you're right, like a way to come back to the present moment is through the body, like through moving and like starting to like have a wider perspective on things.
These phones, they are super useful, and you can call friends and you can text, and I'm using my phone a lot. But like all these apps like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, they are forcing you to react to like short-term impulses all the time. You're only reacting short-term, and you're only reacting not really to information. It's like only entertainment. And this leads, in my opinion, and it's not the full truth. You can always see it differently, and for everyone it's different too. But in my world, I see that this leads to unawareness, and also to in German we say Unmündigkeit. It's like something you're not really able to talk to speak for yourself, and that's like a main problem for me, because our attention is so short and it's so easy to forget. And that's also why we're always stressing out. This like Instagram is always looking at things that happened in the past, thinking about how to post something in the future to achieve the hundreds of likes. Yeah. For me, it's totally unnecessary. Exactly. I just deleted Instagram and my private Facebook account, and because it's just stressing you out. It's creating something that's not there.
I totally agree. Social media has made us unfocused. It's basically they're designed to keep you addicted to the notifications and stuff. And of course, when you're an artist, they can be a great promotion tool. But on the other hand, also they can make you feel under pressure to be validated through the number of likes and followers, or even comparing yourself to other artists and then feeling a bit crap, because when you do that, you always end up feeling bad. So I was going to ask you, actually, how do you deal with social media in a way that keeps you sane? So you got off Instagram, you're only using Facebook for your artist page. How do you manage social media in a way that keeps you sane, so you only get the good out of it as much as possible?
So I'm actually using my fan page through the account of my girlfriend, because you somehow need an admin for your page. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm like, okay, I'm going to post something, then I'm logging into her account, and then I'm going to the fan page, and at some point, like 30 minutes later, I notice, oh fuck, I just scrolled through all the timeline. We have so many friends in common, and that's the thing. I think the main problem with addictions is that you will always have them. It's like when an alcoholic goes to the AAs and he tells her he's not addicted anymore, then he's not true, like honest to himself. That's what I think, and that's what the AAs also tell you. Mm-hmm. And same for me. We're all so addicted to these apps, and I'm not really over this addiction. I can't tell that, but still, I think I was thinking in a practical way, because I knew Instagram is stressing me out a lot, and Facebook is stressing me out a lot. Twitter, actually, I'm not really going through Twitter. I just receive notifications, and I sometimes see when someone shares content about me. That's quite nice. But I knew like my private account and my private Instagram account, or like the Instagram account in general, kind of stressed me out. And then I was looking, because I always said I needed for my music, I needed to promote myself. And then I said, okay, how many actual gigs or requests from labels came out of Instagram and my private Facebook account? And actually, I can count them in one hand, probably. Yeah. And that's the thing. You always think you're in need to have these things and to go with this flow and with this trend. Can you say trend? Yeah. Trend. But you don't need it. You actually don't need it. I'm just sharing my music there. That's fine. And because I still have a few fans there, or a few people following me, but I'm not like sharing something and then refreshing the site every 5 minutes to see how many likes I have. Yeah. And that's what I did in the past. Yeah, and some artists, I think, may believe that the numbers on social media are important for the promoters. But in my eyes, I'm an ex-promoter. In my eyes, that would make a very, very lazy promoter if only you looked at the numbers of likes in order to book someone. To me, it doesn't make any sense, right? It
it's not an accurate view of someone's career, especially these days when, you know, most people can buy their likes and it's all automated bots, which doesn't mean anything. So